Hello, it's me again, and we're going to round out to the last, so far, of this series of Witeden products of this Roadblock 1. I've gone over Roadblock 2, figured I'd go back and do Roadblock 1. This one is a little different from the rest in that, as you can see, all centers and all corners, all centers and all edges have multiple layers here. They're all in different layers. And you can see that the pattern of each side is pretty much the same. You've got one that's congruous, and then you've got another making like a little X side here. And being Roadblock puzzle, a lot of these will block certain motions. So what's interesting about this is anytime you have a new puzzle, you try to identify what it's like. Is this like a cuboid? Is this like something else? Well, this actually is not like a cuboid, and it's not going to be solved like one. This is pretty much solved exactly like a 5 by 5, but with a little twist, so to speak, or a little bit of a block. Now, the reason why I say that is because at every level it acts like a 5 by 5 with little extended layers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from this side, and on this side 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just like all 5 by 5s, you start off by putting in your centers and putting in your edges. Now scrambling it, of course, with a lot of these new puzzles, scrambling it could be as difficult as putting it in. So let's say I go over here, then I'm going to go across here, do the scramble like this in the side that I'm able to do it. Go like this, put it here, and just try to get it as scrambled as possible. Then what I want to do is I want to start moving these blocked areas in as well. So what I can do is just move this down, move this here so that it's parallel, move it up, maybe do another one just like that, move this down here and up. So now I've got these guys that can also be turned. And same kind of thing, just sort of turn them around so that really what I'm doing is I'm just mixing up the centers first. And I'll continue to follow suit with here. Move this down, across here, and up. And try to get over here too, down, across, and up. And same kind of thing, scrambling like so. Did all the bottoms, same thing on the top here. Move up, across, and down. Same thing here maybe. Move this around along like so. Scramble these up nicely. And then maybe across here too. Now there is a reason why I'm not speeding through this. A reason why I'm kind of going a little slower than usual. And I'll reveal all that in a bit. Anyway, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to scramble these centers up really good. Actually, once I've done that, once I've scrambled my corners, my edges up here, I want to scramble the center here too. So I'm going to move this down, move this across, do a bunch of this stuff. Make sure that there isn't anything that can be mistaken as being anything other than completely scrambled. Once I think I've got a pretty good scramble on each side, try to make it as random as possible. Now what I'm going to do is just a regular 3 by 3 scramble from here. So like I say, oftentimes to really get a challenging puzzle, you have to work a little bit harder potentially. Okay, so that's pretty good. So here's a pretty good scrambled Roadblock. Now, there's a couple things that I want to point out. Because you might think, okay, so it's a 5 by 5. Solve it just like a 5 by 5. We have to kind of deal with some of these roadblocks. It just means a matter of turning this. Might be a little bit of a supercube kind of a modality. But there's actually something very interesting about this puzzle. Something kind of unique. Something I've not actually seen before. Due to its particular way it's put together in geometry, there's something very unique about the actual solve of this puzzle. And I'm not going to say exactly what it is, but if you pay very close attention, I'm going to see if you can figure it out and see if it becomes more apparent to you at the end. Because this actual solve of this, the actual final state, may appear to be a little bit more unusual. So pay close attention to what I'm going to do and see if you can figure out, number one, what the heck I'm talking about, and number two, what I can do to actually return it to an official solved state. So just kind of pay close attention to what I'm going to do. But basically, the solve of this is going to be exactly like that. It's going to be really like a 5 by 5 because we're really dealing with kind of extended corners here, so to speak. So the first step, like in any 5 by 5, is we start by putting in our centers. So we'll start off with a green, and I'm just going to be putting in the green center. So here's over here. Now, of course, because of the roadblock aspect, I have to make sure that everything is moved in. There's this over here, and move this down. So here's my green center, no problem. Now, because this is an odd numbered, all of my centers are already put in for me, or they're not put in for me, but they're already displayed in terms of what they need to be. So I'm going to move this here. I want to move this white one in, so move this like so. Make sure this isn't roadblocked, and put that in here. So white, no problems. How about here? Well, this has to be orange. I've got the 2 oranges here, and I'm going to move this in the same way that I move with all the big cubes. I'm going to basically substitute it with these guys, with this guy. So I'm going to move it in, double turn, move it back. That way I didn't knock out any of this. Here's this one, and I'm going to substitute it for this. So move it in to bat this one out of the way, double turn, move it out, and there it is. Okay, that leaves this one. This is primed to be over here. We'll just move this up. Same kind of thing. Take this roadblock out, and that's one of the only variations with this. Yep. Put this here, move this in, double turn, move it out. No problems. Now we very quickly got ourselves to the last 2 centers. This one's going to be pink. Take anything that resembles a roadblock out, like so, and then move it in, double turn, move it out, and then same thing here, move it in, double turn, and move it out. So lo and behold, it appears we've got everything where we need it to be. So we've got all of our centers here in the configuration that that we want. So next is we put in our edges, and this is done just like the 5 by 5. So we can start off here. Here's a green and white. Green and white's over here. So normally what I would do with the 5 by 5s is I'd move this up here, move this here, and then this moves down. The only thing I have to be sure of is how I position it is I can't move it down if it's roadblocked, which means I got to move them out of here. I'll move this here because it's in conjunction, and move this here. And as you can see, we're blocked over here. So to move this in the proper configuration, we're just going to move this to the side, move it up, turn this again, and move it down so that it's lined up, and move it back. So fairly intuitive there. And then it's just a matter of moving this down. Now, I haven't done any actual tutorials on how to do 5 by 5s because there's a lot out there and they're really very good. So unless there's a gap where you want it, I can do it by request. But in any case, the technique here is you move it down to match the side, bump it out of the way, turn this here and replace it with another one and bring it back. That's a way of keeping our centers, and now we've got these 2 here. Now we need to get the middle one. So the middle green and white, which is over here. So it's not enough just to move it here. Actually, this is facing the wrong way. And this is roadblocked here. So I'm actually going to move this across here and move this down so that way we can move this up. So this can move like so. Now to do this is going to be replaced by this one over here because we're going to move it down, across, bring this down here, bring this back, and move it back up. So now we have this. And we just kind of follow suit, look for things that are already partially in place. Here is the blue and yellow. Find the other blue and yellow here. So we want to move this up. And I want to move it so that it faces, so I want to move this over here. But again, it's got to be coordinated appropriately. So I'll move this down. This has to be coordinated appropriately with the center. So turn this like so, turn this up, and turn it in. So that way we're not roadblocked at all. What I'm going to be replacing this edge with is one that's up here, if you can just remember that. So basically move it down to bring it in, move it across, move this down again, and bring this in, that's what we replaced it with, and move it back up. So I think we can accelerate through that, but again, pay attention to what's going on because you'll figure out the mystery that I'm talking about. So now we're going to move this in, we're roadblocked here, so we have to make sure we've lined it up correctly with this center. And then, no, we don't want to make parity. Wouldn't matter if we did because we can get out of it, but probably best to avoid it if we can. Down, turn, 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 up. Green and orange, yellow rather. Where's the other green and yellow? Right over here. So we're already in line here, but this is roadblocked. So why don't we move them both here, turn the center up, and move them both back. This still is blocked over here. There. So I just lined up the center here, and we've got that going there. So down. We don't want to do it like that because this is already put in, so we're going to have to move this up. So down, turn, 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 up. So here's the green and orange. Now, green and orange is also here, but this is on the wrong side. So it would make sense to substitute it with this. But I'm not going to do that for the moment, just to show you what happens if you do have a parity type situation. Which again is put in exactly the way that you have seen before. Let's put this here. So I'm going to put this blue and orange down to here, even though it's not quite configured right. I'm probably already knowing what I'm about to do here, but anyway, this is sort of a parity. We can flip this over. We're going to do that with that Red Bull algorithm. There's actually no difference between that. First, let's unroadblock it. Let's put it in a place that's not roadblocked. It's got to kind of move it in a better position here. Okay, so this can all move. All right, so this is going to be our R move. This is going to be our L move, and it's that same algorithm. 2R, 2B, 2U, L, 2U, RI, 2U, R, 2U, 2F, R, 2F, LI, 2B, 2R, and you see that that's back. So I just want to demonstrate that this really is exactly like the exactly like that, exactly like the 5x5. So now we're, I believe, at our last two centers. So the algorithm to do this is exactly the same as with a 5x5. And what that algorithm does is it takes this stripe, this layer, and exchanges this to here and this to here. Now this is interesting in that it's the middle ones that are all messed up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start off by putting this to here. So I've got the yellow and orange one down here, and the green and orange one will come up here. So to do that, to move this to here, is I'm going to move this, slice it here with a U move. And the algorithm here, as you may or may not recall, depending on if you've done a 5x5 before, is going to be R, FIU, RIF, and slice it back. So you can see it did exchange that, and it did exchange that here. Now it's just a matter of exchanging these guys. Now this needs to come to here, and this needs to come up here. So if I want to exchange it like that, I'm going to move this way like here, and it's the same kind of algorithm. R, FIU, RIF, and slice it back, and lo and behold, it's fine, except parity here, but we're not scared about that. 2R, B, U, L, up, RI, up, R, up, F, R, F, LI, B, R, 2R rather. Okay, so we basically have exactly what we need here. So we've really just taken this to a 3x3. We've just turned this into a 3x3, leading to nothing but a 3x3 solve. But I'm going to do it anyway because I still haven't answered that challenge from the beginning. So just kind of pay close attention to what I'm doing here. We'll start off with a green layer here, get our cross. Besides, who can risk the opportunity to do a good old-fashioned 3x3 solve? Anytime I see a 3x3 in, say, a doctor's waiting room or something, and it's not solved, can anyone actually resist the temptation of not solving it? I know I can't. So bring this up here, I assume I don't need to get into exorbitant details of exactly what I'm doing. I think you all know, and I think you're all pretty much cringing because I'm probably doing it a lot slower than any of you guys. But we'll keep going here. Pink and white, which is here, like so. Same old-fashioned stuff. And maybe you're catching what I'm doing here, maybe not. I'm banking on the hand being quicker than the eye. Okay, this goes here. And this goes here. And this guy goes here. Some of you people can probably do this blindfolded. Anyway, first layer is in. Find all the non-blues. Get the next layer in. No mysteries, no problems. So what is it that I'm referring to? What am I talking about? Okay, so this belongs here. And what else we got? This belongs over here. Okay, second layer in. Last layer, we have our line here, F-R-U, R-I-U-I, F-I. So we've got a cross. Let's get the cross in the right configuration here, which it is over here. So that wasn't too hard. Get these over here now. Anything in the proper configuration? And nope. So we'll do usual technique here. Anything here in the proper configuration? Yeah, this one. So this is right, this is right, so these by necessity must be right. So let's just kind of put these guys in. Oh. Okay, and last but not least, we do this and it is solved. Or is it? So anyway, basically we have returned ourselves back to the same configuration that we were when we started. So we have ourselves a completely solved roadblock puzzle. Now, did any of you guys catch what just happened? Did you see the did you see exactly what I'm talking about? It appears to be solved, which it is. It appears to be in the same configuration. I mean, everything seems to be in place. But see if you can find out exactly what I'm talking about what's very unique about the potential solved situations of this puzzle. And I'm going to come back to this and see who out there, either number one, knows what I'm talking about, and number two, can find a solution to exactly what I'm talking about. So let me know what you think. Message, post comments, tell me what you think I might be talking about. So, more on that later.